Greetings and salutations to all you folks out there. As a lot of you already know, and some of you may have actually played in the tournament last Saturday, that is yesterday as of the day of this cast, the Insanity Cup went down. We had a fantastic time. If you couldn't be there, I hate that you missed out. It was a blast. We had around 150 people that were signed up for it, and I think most of them showed up. There was a ton of games going on. We had 7 brackets with cash prizes for the winners. I actually have the finals match, the grand final of the under 1900 rank bracket. It is Mephi versus Bloodguard, and they're both Cybran on the map Twin Rivers. Now, if you want to check out any replays from that, the entire listing is on the FAF forums. If you go to the tournaments page, any of the Insanity posts have the challenge links on them to get the brackets for that, and you can just search the names and watch any of the replays that you like. There were a ton of great games. I may pick 1 or 2 more to cast just for like a highlights reel in the next couple of days. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and jump in to this game. It was a great one. I live streamed this one, but it hung right at the last 5 minutes, so nobody got to see the ending of this game as far as the streaming was concerned. I'm going to go ahead and cast it here, and we can watch it all the way through. As aforementioned, Bloodguard is an appropriate red color in the south, and Mephi is bright green on the northern side. Both of them are going with basically symmetrical builds. We've got a lab first, followed by a scout, followed by an engineer, and there the similarities end because we have the engineer for Blood going up to snag as much of this reclaim as he possibly can. But I do think that this slab right here is going to knock it out. And yes, it will right there. That is a lost cause. And then we have the lab up here on the northern side for Bloodguard that was not quite so lucky with snagging a target. It is kind of hanging around to the side right there, but has not done anything phenomenal quite yet. And then down here we have a Mantis out, and a Mantis on the north side as well to guard this expansion engineer. But there's the scout. It has spotted that hunter. It's going to go chase it down, pinch it off, and kill it. Very well done on Mephi's part. So the early rating was pretty much a bust for Bloodguard, and 1 engineer snagged by Mephi before everything was all evened out. Alright, we've got a bomber out here. We had second air by both players. Solid Twin Rivers build. You can't really get away with air any later than that, otherwise you will get smashed. Difference is Mephi went first interceptor, Bloodguard went first bomber. He is going to get an engineer kill there, circle back around, and get KO'd by those 2 interceptors. Alright, nice bit of aggression down here by Mephi. He has bypassed Bloodguard's ACU with 2 Mantis and a Scout, but there are 2 Mantis down here which are in much better shape. Those are going to mop up those right there, and that is going to stop the incursion. That is one of the things that makes Cybran really dangerous on this map, is the high speed of their land units. There is so much opportunity for run by on this map. You can get absolutely smothered if you're not careful. But since it is Cybran versus Cybran, the response time is quite good, and this is basically going to be a spam war. As you can see, we've got 6 factories online with a 7th going down for Mephi, and on the southern side we have 5 with a 6th through 11th for Bloodguard. Got some ACU movement on the left side here for Mephi. He does have more units on the map early, but Bloodguard is definitely bringing his production online, and they're doing pretty evenly on mass. Bloodguard is borderline overflowing. Not quite, and there he did go negative. He did waste a little bit of mass though. That is never a good thing, especially early in the game where getting the upper hand is absolutely critical. You do not want to waste a single mass tick, because that could be the difference between life and death when you're trying to front for little run-bys like this. But Bloodguard is going to be able to get his ACU over to the side and help clean up those units with a little bit of chase down right there. No serious harm done. We got transport out for Mephi. He is going to snag the right side island, and looks like he's pulled a secondary drop point over here. He does have a full load on that transport. Alright. Mephi's ACU is on the left, as I mentioned just a minute ago. So these guys are going to have to sort out where they're going to throw the primary strength of their force. We have a Rhino for Bloodguard, and it looks like we do have a Tech 2 factory online over here as well, but that threw out 2 Tech 2 engineers first. I imagine those are going to throw down some point defense. And a drop for Mephi on the northern side. Some point defense can do a bit of good on this map. You actually have a couple of fairly narrow choke points where you can either wall off a section or build point defense, and it does a great deal towards hampering the movement of enemy troops. This is going to be an issue though, because Bloodguard has a couple of Tech 2 units and a whole lot of Mantis up there, and Mephi does not have anything in that area that can stop that force. So he is going to get skirted, but at the same time we've got 3 Mantis drop down here. 3 Mantis is not much, but when you have 0 opposition other than what is running at top speed towards you, then you will have an opportunity to knock out some eco. We got 1 mass extractor down, probably going to peg a second one, and then those 3 Mantis are going to die. Meanwhile, Mephi is losing a significant portion of the rear of his base and then getting run by down the center as well. This point defense is going to do some good work, but Rhinos are going to be able to knock it out pretty efficiently. No. Yes, on flat terrain, the walls are going to stop Rhino's shots. Sorry, folks, I misspoke. You were probably thinking I was a maniac for thinking that, and I was a maniac for thinking that. I should know better than to think that Rhinos can fire over wall sections. How dumb of me. Alright, gunships are on the map all over the place. We've got 4 jesters total out right now for Mephi, plus a good amount of bombers. He's decided that that is going to be the most efficient way to take out the Rhinos. And we've got more Rhinos down here. I would definitely be building flak, but it appears that Bloodguard has not built a single flak as of yet, and he's relying entirely on his interceptor force, which I've got to say looks inferior to Mephi's. And then on top of that, he has the ground attack units to distract the fire of the interceptors. So I think that is going to be a heavy air loss for Bloodguard. But he is still running by his opponent, wiping out the edges, the corners, the rear. Got 2 Rhinos going up north right here again to knock out these eco points. Bloodguard has about 10 more eco than Mephi. The only reason Mephi is keeping up is because of the side islands, and wouldn't you know it, we've got Rhinos on the side islands now. There is a point defense there, but the Tech 1 artillery is going to stun it a little bit. That Rhino is still going to do some damage. And then these 2 Rhinos on the bottom are pretty much completely unopposed. They're going to wipe out all 3 mass points down there. And now Bloodguard is almost 20 ahead of Mephi. Once a couple of these mass extractors go down, he will be 20 ahead. Alright, some more Rhinos building up now for Mephi, and finally some flak for Bloodguard. That took way too long to get into the front. That should have been built as soon as he saw the larger swarm of Tech 1 anti-air. Honestly, even if your enemy doesn't have a huge amount of anti-air, I would still build a flak here or there just to keep 1 or 2 near my ACU to prevent unexpected snipes. I mean, technically, if your opponent gets enough air units online at once, he will be able to snipe you regardless, but it is amazing how much 2 mobile flak can do to protect your ACU. And then with 2 mobile flak, 1 pass from a blob of interceptors and it will kill basically all of the interceptors. Instant air control. So that is something that you definitely need to keep in mind when you're assembling your T2 force. In a game like this, especially when Bloodguard had such a significant advantage earlier, he should have had a flak there, and that would have saved him when he was up against all of those jesters and Tech 1 bombers up there. Could have done a lot more damage. Now, it looks like Bloodguard has more units, but I gotta say that Mephi has completely made up his force of Tech 2 units. We still have a Medusa here or there, and Medusas are a fantastic thing to keep mixing into your force even late into the game because of that amazing stun effect on the Tech 1 artillery. But in a situation like this, Mantis are pretty much completely outclassed by Rhinos. Once you get your point defensive wall sections up, Mantis are primarily a run-by tool. They do not perform as well as other tanks, but they make up for it in speed. Your Rhinos are going to be the mainstay damage dealers of your force, and Bloodguard is not building enough Rhinos. But it looks like he is finally getting... he's got one support factor. I thought I saw 2 or 3, but he is still running Tech 1 land factories. Kind of an interesting choice. Still running 20 eco higher than Mephi, but Mephi is at 26,000 reclaim to Bloodguard's 7,500, thanks to all of the units that were dumped in the back of the map here from all those run-bys. The run-bys were not followed up on. They did not do quite enough damage, and Mephi ended up picking up the reclaim for basically the entire force belonging to Blood. That's allowed him to get a Tech 3 HQ online. He's building bricks and trebuchets, and he has less eco than Bloodguard does, although he is rapidly catching up. It's 93 to 99 right now. And we've got a Monkey Lord started for Bloodguard and for Mephi, both of them looking like a mirror match. This trebuchet is going to keep maintaining fire. You can see the huge area of effect on that, wiping out, looks like about a dozen or 14 units in one hit. That is very strong against Tech 1 spam, and even as a damage dealer to Tech 2 and Tech 3 spam, when you got a bunch of units packed in together, the effective damage of the trebuchet is incredibly high. Even though it may only do a couple of hundred damage to each unit, by the time you multiply that by a dozen units, you end up with a very high damage total. Alright, the Monkey Lord is going up faster for Bloodguard than it is for Mephi, and that is due to the higher eco of Bloodguard and not pouring as much production into his land units. You can see he's paused his Tech 3 factory. Actually, he's paused all of his factories in order to get that Monkey Lord online sooner. And then on the northern side, Mephi is going to be just about done with his as well. And ding, Spider's done. Going to be about 20 seconds behind on that one. Maybe 15. And Monkey Lord is finished. But the one thing that I do see right here is that Bloodguard immediately went to Tech 3 land production, not Bloodguard, Mephi, whereas Bloodguard dove into another Monkey Lord. And then Bloodguard does not have nearly as many units to escort his Monkey Lord as Mephi does. Well, he may have the same amount of units, but Mephi has almost entirely Tech 2, and Rhinos are very powerful per unit cap. And we've got a lot of Medusas and a lot of Mantis in this mix back here. So I think between the couple of bricks, the trebuchets, and this Tech 2 force, yep, that Monkey Lord does not stand a chance. Mephi is going to pick up a vet, start chasing down the enemy forces, going to continue to pick up veterancies on that Monkey Lord. That is one of the strengths of the Monkey, is its incredibly good veterancy, and it is going to start crushing southward. Bloodguard is trying to get his Monkey Lord done. And we had a pause on the Monkey Lord here. I don't know that he's going to get it. It is 95. Yes, he's going to get it done. This Monkey Lord has decided that it is better to stay back and wait for the opportune moment to strike. We've got another Monkey Lord started over here for Mephi. Island control has remained static for the better part of this game. We had that one raid by Bloodguard which got him one of the islands, and they pretty much just forgot about it. Bloodguard also forgot to rebuild this mass extractor down here. Not sure how that happens, but it is not a good thing. Monkey Lord headed up north right here, and this is not good. This Monkey Lord is going to win because it will have 44,000 to 45,000 health, and the regen is going to be significantly higher here. Plus we have the bricks. So Monkey Lord is going to absolutely stomp all over Bloodguards, and that, I think, is going to be game. We have that very strong force of Rhinos over here on the left hand side, Monkey Lord and bricks on the right. Bloodguard is going to throw out the GG and Control K, and that is game. Mephi did pick up the cash prize for the #1 slot on the under 1900 category. Bloodguard had a very well played second place. And I've got to say about Mephi, I couldn't believe when I was watching Mephi playing this. It was just game after game after game. He was in from the first bracket all the way through to the last bracket, won every single game on the max number of games that you can play. So kudos to that. Couple of little minor highlights from the series. We had 2 draws in the entire tournament, which is actually kind of surprising. A lot of times in very fine drawn play where you're doing everything that you possibly can to survive or take the enemy down with you because it's not single round knockout. Both draws were gotten by the same player, Satya, in the under 900 bracket. And then we had a couple of interesting things happen here or there. I will try to get a small highlights reel at some point this week from things that happened during the tourney. But overall, we had a great time. I'm going to stick the Insanity Cup on the shelf for about 3 months. This is going to be something that we do once in a great while to have a good time with. I will definitely give you guys a heads up when the next one is coming around so you can make plans to be here. You do not want to miss it. It is a fantastic time. All right, that's the end of this game, the end of this cast, and the end of my ramblings. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you in